Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, hello and welcome. I am Katie Petrick, as always, joined by that guy over there, Mr. David Fiorazzo.
Hello.
And it is Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday.
Are you thirsty?
Yes.
What are you going to drink then?
Just some water, Powerade or something.
Ooh. Maybe it'll be a tea Thursday then. You have a little tea? Sip a little tea.
Pumpkin spice tea?
Oh,
Is it time
gosh.
yet? Is it time yet?
Get ready for that, everyone. All right, well, drink your Thirsty Thursday, pumpkin spice, whatever over there.
Thanks a latte, Katie. That's right. Once again, it's that time of week to check in with Mr. Alex Newman and see what he's going to talk to us about this week. Hey, Alex.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here. Yeah, more crazy news from Crazy Town. You've got this tiny group of fringe, radical, left-wing, totalitarian activists who showed up with a fake reporter to protest and demonize an event hosted by Moms for Liberty, and they ended up making a gigantic spectacle of themselves in the process. This protest, and as far as we could tell, there were 2, maybe 3 people, we're not really sure, organized by a local hate group that is unbelievably bigoted and intolerant toward conservatives, Christians, people of faith, people who reject gender confusion and things like that. And ironically, they ended up highlighting the extremism and really the danger of this totalitarian fringe that is just running wild all across the country. Thankfully, attendees are pushing back. The event took place earlier this month, featured our good friend, Dr. Duke Pesta, literature professor, nationally renowned expert on education. He's given over 1,000 talks across the United States. He leads the K-12 school FreedomProject Academy, and he spoke at this event on extreme sex education, the social-emotional learning manipulation of our children, and how parents and communities can resist these threats to children. But these local hate activists, under the banner of Hate-Free Outagamie, or Outagamie, I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of the county, they saw it differently. They described Dr. Duke as a reactionary ideologue, a prominent member of the infamous John Birch Society, boom, 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 a man who they say is at the forefront of the growing movement to ban progressive books from public schools in the U.S. Moms for Liberty, meanwhile, was described, obviously falsely, as a far-right hate group. Yes, seriously. Now, one of the activists pretending to be a reporter actually wrote a report on this protest, and they fumed about reactionary forces, and this is what they said. Hate-free Outagamie activists came out to declare that even at the very heart of this reactionary movement, even within the belly of the beast, resistance is possible. Obviously no name on this piece of garbage, and it was ironic. They put it in this fringe Marxist website called Fight Back News. 2 activists were pictured there. For those of you not familiar with Fight Back News, which is probably virtually everyone, you think I'm kidding here? I'm not. This is a website that defends and promotes the mass murdering, crazy dictatorship enslaving the people of North Korea. The same dictatorship that puts children and grandchildren in concentration camps if their grandfather speaks out. The same regime responsible for the mass starvation of the Korean people to the point where literally they were engaged in cannibalism some years ago. A regime that has turned Kim Il-sung and the rest of his family into these like god men. So yeah, that's where these people are coming from. They ended up putting a picture of 2 of their activists in on this article that they had, if you want to call it that. Yeah, they actually had somebody, a fake reporter, who snuck into the event disguised as a normal person and recorded the entire event. But quite interestingly, not one single quote, not one iota of Dr. Duke's speech or anything that happened there was included in the article, probably because they knew it would debunk the fake narrative that they were trying to portray here. Now, several attendees actually sent me comments for this article. One of them, David Kempen, who attended the talk and listened to it, he said this article seemed more about stirring up division versus reporting on what was actually presented, and that could have easily provided quotes of the things that were said. He said, I would have to rate this article mostly misleading and lacking in truth. He said, where's the evidence that Moms for Liberty is a far-right hate group? Said, why wasn't any reporting of what was actually said so that the readers of the Fight Back News could check things out for themselves? And of course, the reason is very obvious, right? This is a fake news website dedicated to, as they say, build the people's struggle, which is, of course, the same kind of language that every mass murdering lunatic communist of the last 100 years has used before slaughtering enormous numbers of innocent people. This guy went on or gal, I don't know, or whatever, went on to demonize the John Birch Society, saying it is considered by many to be the progenitor of the modern conservative ideology. The website also claimed that the John Birch Society stand for family values was actually a cover to conceal homophobia and anti-communism and other real and imagined sins. Yep, can't make this stuff up. Anyways, like I said, this website is openly pro-North Korea, one of the most vicious tyrannies in the world. And they are part of, they say on their website, from the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. Again, another pro-North Korea, Maoist, insane group of kooks. Now, their protest appears to have been organized in part on Facebook. According to Facebook, 6 people attended. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But one activist on social media, a professional psychotherapist who goes by the name Jax Anderson, she actually posted a photo of herself with a t-shirt advocating kicking the bleepity bleep out of Moms for Liberty. She lists her pronouns and rages against the patriarchy and firearms, and also bragged on Facebook that she ate beans the night before to stink up their space. A real mature. But really, folks, this kind of escalating hate and violent extremism being directed at parents who love their children, people who want to protect their children from groomers, from perverts, from pedophiles, from being sexualized in school. This stuff is becoming increasingly dangerous. These people are really going off the rails. They talk about Moms for Liberty like it's the KKK or something. Meanwhile, the Biden regime is sicking the FBI on these concerned moms who speak out at school board meetings. But guess what, folks? As anybody who's ever encountered a bear in the woods with her cubs knows, getting between a mom and her baby is dangerous business. Folks, parents have got to recognize these are existential threats to family, to children, and people need to respond accordingly. The reality is that if moms and dads don't protect their children from these perverts, nobody is going to do it. So we got to take this on. We cannot allow these people to bully and intimidate and divide and slander and even advocate violence against concerned moms. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
All because a Christian business in Colorado, the Drip Cafe, mentioned homosexuality and their beliefs in a statement. They have been attacked, harassed, their building has been defaced, windows broken, customers have been scared away. So once again, the preachers of so-called tolerance, compassion, open dialogue, and inclusion show their true colors. Death wishes against the owner, constant protests outside, and their goal is to shut down the Christian business. So the mob has been gathering outside the Christian cafe since June 2nd for the purpose of intimidation and destruction. I'm David Fiorazzo, and this is Christ and Culture. So Jamie Sanchez is the founder of Drip Cafe and also Recycle God's Love. It's a nonprofit on a mission to help the homeless in their community. The problem is a group called Denver Communists teamed up with LGBTQ activists after a statement affirming biblical sexuality was found on the Recycle God's Love website. They put it out in the public. The protests haven't ceased since then. And if these were Christians, by the way, acting like this, they'd be arrested. But according to Sanchez, the startup effort is called Project Revive. And the goal is to bring in homeless individuals and help them break the chains that are holding them down. Practical help includes mental health, spiritual coaching, financial advice, job acquisition, and even housing. Now, they want to work alongside the homeless, and the Drip Cafe is a place that they can work a real-world job as part of the recovery program. But the demonic activity outside the building, right outside the doors, has chased off new customers. Sanchez changed the wording of the original statement on the website to focus more on love and truth, but it didn't matter to the mob. The totalitarian mob. What is so offensive to activists these days is that some people have the audacity to believe the Bible and even speak about what it has to say regarding sin and God's moral law. Apparently, you can no longer make it public or say you believe it if you want your business or ministry to stay open, according to the mob. But true believers are called to be light in the darkness. You can't do that by keeping your faith to yourself and not living it out. So the original statement basically explained why Christians opposed homosexual lifestyles and why the Bible considers them sin. God's word also mentions, by the way, adultery, fornication, murder, pride, and a host of other sins. So owner Jamie Sanchez recently explained in an interview that activists posted on social media that his organization hates gay people and are, quote, spreading homophobia. The coffee shop has been defaced, and the shouting outside their front door has been persistent. Leftist mobs using misinformation campaigns. What else is new? So early on, Sanchez tried talking with the protesters, but their intolerance made matters worse. Workers at the cafe are fearful, and prospective customers are bullied and berated, at times by the thugs outside using a bullhorn to intimidate anyone who goes inside. It has affected business and finances, obviously. Sanchez had this to say.
It's made a large impact. The sales are significantly lower. And so that's really their goal. They said they want us, they want our doors shut. They don't want us in their city. They don't want us. They told me they don't want me on the planet.
Okay, let's clarify. They don't just disagree with Christians and the biblical worldview. If you desire to live according to its principles and others find out about it, you better leave the planet. They don't want him on the planet. The Democrat Denver Communists and Rainbow Mafia rejected calls for a truce last month and said they'd stop protesting once the Drip Cafe closed down. According to them, the Bible and those who believe it are spreading, quote, vile anti-LGBTQ plus ideas, end quote. So Sanchez is wrestling with the fact that good is being called evil and evil is being called good, as well as the freedom of speech and religious freedom debate that shouldn't be a debate at all. He adds this, quote, it's to the point where it's like, where does their free speech start to impede my civil rights as a Christian and to believe what I want to believe? My rights are under attack while we're trying to protect the communists' rights, which is super bizarre. Bizarre and unconstitutional. Despite the chaos, the good guys are not giving up. Sanchez said they have plans to continue the mission of serving the poor and others in need, including the homeless. And he said that God made it very clear where we're supposed to be. So how can people help? Well, first, pray for them. Fellow Christians can also help the organization by donating. They set up a Give, Send, Go that's established to help make up for a lot of the missing income, the lost business due to the ongoing chaos and rebellion right outside their doors. And remember, the gospel is as offensive as it may be to some. It's the only answer. It's the only hope. And our purpose doesn't change. Our purpose as believers is to reach people who don't believe. The results are up to God. No one is too far gone for Jesus to reach and save. God bless you, and keep speaking the truth about things that matter.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED, educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show. I am Dr. Duke, and I am joined today by Vicki McKenna. Vicki, how are you?
Well, I'm well. What have you dragged me into today, Duke Pesta?
I save stories like this just for you, in the off in the off hope that you lose it in a rant, because I love those rants. And so this is a rant-worthy set of stories. In the clown car show that is progressive leftism, and in the carnival circus that is the LGBTQ, we have a new fad, Vicky, and it's really not that new. It goes back at least 30 years. Adult babies. That's right, you heard me right. Adults acting like babies, wearing diapers, playing with dollhouses, having special bedrooms with little Barbies, people who literally are 35 years old wetting themselves and poo-pooing themselves to be treated like little babies. And this is the adult baby lifestyle. It's taken off in the LGBT community decades after the first public event was dedicated to adults who identify and live as babies in the early 1990s. A group of adult baby diaper lovers, the ABDL, it's got its own alphabet soup, called the Diaper Pail Friends. These are the Diaper Pail Friends, 3,000 strong by 1995, tens of thousands now. Psychologists raised the idea of adults enjoying wearing diapers in the 1980s, right? And so psychology is lending itself to this as well, suggesting that this is, well, you know, there are psychic and stress relieving values to treating yourself.
Pooping yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I it's hard to know where to start, Duke. First, this is the Q in LGBTQ. This would be the big fat Q. Q can be anything it wants to be. Q can be the ultimate outer edge of kink. But something to start off with, adults who get off on behaving like babies, on pooping themselves and wearing diapers and sucking on pacifiers, who are into this for sexual pleasure, which is most of these people. These are the same people who are telling you that children should be allowed to consent and can choose their gender at age 2 or age 6 months. These are the people who want to press children, babies, into adult decision making while they, as adults, claim they're not responsible for their adult decision making because they've decided they identify as babies. It's just, if this goes any further than what you've just shown, and it is embraced by the LGBT big giant Q, then we are one step closer to a time when someone is going to justify the sexual activity of little kids. Yeah, and that's my fear.
You're exactly right.
That's the serious take on this.
It is. And now from the article, the topic has resurfaced now as a trend within the LGBTQ community after a social media post from 3 adult babies, you can see the screen, sucking on pacifiers at the Paris Pride Parade went viral. The Twin Cities Pride Festival in Minneapolis hosted the Minnesota Adult Diaper Enthusiasts Club, MADE, as one of its vendors in July of this year, according to TikTok. You can sort of see that here. And I want to go back to, we actually, Mike, we have a video.
By the way, I'm done with Pride. Let me just say this before we go any further. Pride is, really, if you are gay or lesbian and you think that rainbow flag represents you, you know what? Unless you endorse pedophilia and child sexual grooming and all manners of deviance and kink, get a new flag. Get a new flag. The pride flag and pride this and pride that is nothing more than a rubber stamp of fetish sexuality and pedophilia. And if you are, one of the folks who just said, well, geez, I just wanted to have, equal civil rights. I'm just gay. That's not your flag. Get a new flag, because you know what? You're being lumped under that flag too.
Amen. That's exactly right. And there's we say this all the time, but it's obvious. There is a really anarchic strain of socialism, Marxism underneath this, right? This is a complete overturning of every rational accountability, responsibility, action regards to adults. We're treating Think about the Hunter Biden stuff. We're treating adults like babies. Well, he's just a spoiled baby.
And babies like adults.
He's just a privileged, and he's a goofball. We shouldn't take this so seriously.
Poor boy. He's a poor boy.
Meanwhile, we're treating 5 and 7 and 9-year-olds when it comes to sex and their own bodies as if they're 45-year-old men and women. We actually have a video here. In a better world, we would be able to put a soundtrack to this video, maybe the Benny Hill theme, because it's so ridiculous. But take a look at the video.
My name is Riley. I'm 25 years old. I live outside of Buffalo, New York, and I'm addicted to being an adult baby. I dress as a baby as often as I can. Whenever I come home, I always slip into one of my cute little outfits, and it helps me wash away all the stress of the big, tough world.
Riley has turned her bedroom into a nursery. She sleeps in her crib every night.
I love pajamas, especially footy pajamas. Things with ruffles and pink. I love having my hair in pigtails and sucking on my pacifier.
Riley is also transgender. She was born a male, but always felt awkward and out of place. 5 years ago, Riley began living as a female.
I believe that gender is something that you can choose. I very much believe that I'm a girl. It just feels so comfortable, and it's just so right for me.
Riley is so engrossed in her addiction, she spends nearly $400 a month on accessories like diapers, baby powder, and bottles. She wears diapers 24 hours a day.
Well, these are definitely my favorite type of diapers, the briefs. They're the crinkliest, they're the most absorbent, and they have the tapes on them, so you actually have to go through the whole process of diapering. Wetting my diapers is just something that kind of comes naturally with wearing diapers. The feeling of release and the feeling of comfort of a warm, wet diaper is really something that is very special to me.
There are no words, Vicky. This is the first time.
Is it too early to have a drink?
Yeah, no. But in all the years,
even in Wisconsin for day drinking, I'm just wondering because it's a little early.
Let me ask my producer. In all the years we've been doing this, Mike, have I ever been speechless? There is much more to talk about, but for the rest of the story, check out the full episode of The Dr. Duke Show.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
All right, friends, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard the new breakout song by Oliver Anthony entitled Rich Men North of Richmond. Well, his blue-collar anthem skyrocketed to the top of the music charts, making it the #1 song in the country, outpacing established stars like Taylor Swift, Jason Aldean, and Luke Combs. So let's take a quick look at the video that has helped make this song a viral sensation. Go.
Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bull pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men north of Richmond
Well, of course, not everyone is enjoying Anthony's meteoric rise. Variety's headline reads, Oliver Anthony's Rich Men North of Richmond is an instant smash among conservatives, while progressives wonder if he's a plant.
What?
Now, The Guardian wrote that Rich Men North of Richmond punches down. No surprise, the right wing loves it.
Well, I think most people
Of course.
understand the power and the corruption in D.C., and isn't that what they're referring to?
Oh, yes. Oh, but punching
Richmond,
down.
North of Richmond,
They're punching
Virginia
down.
is
Yeah,
D.C., and yeah.
Anyway, Anthony is a former factory worker.
Nice guitar, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's
really
a sweet,
nice guitar.
Sweet guitar.
Yep.
He said that Richmond North of Richmond is a scathing takedown of politicians in Washington, D.C., who make life a little more difficult than it should be.
Right.
But in a bit of good news, David.
Yes.
Country star John Rich of Big and Rich has reportedly volunteered to produce Anthony's record now that millions of people are asking for more songs. Okay.
Awesome. Good for him.
So, of course, the elites, the DC elites, which is about their handlers, the media, are going to say that how dare you punch down? How dare you attack my babies, my lovers? That's
right.
That's what this is.
The media,
All this is a great song that has a true country feel to it.
Yeah.
We haven't had. I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead. Say it.
We haven't had country music in this country for quite a while, and I'm glad it's back. Thank you. We haven't had true country music. It's back with this song. Country music can finally say they have a country song again. Oh, so happy for them. We haven't had
good for
country
him.
music.
His voice is
It's really nice. Yeah. And he's
good voice.
He's speaking truth. I mean, it's common sense. Everyone's like, okay. Like, if you didn't know who this guy was or where he's from, which until this point no one did, maybe you would just be hearing it and thinking like, oh, that's a nice tune, and then you listen to the words and you're like, oh, I can resonate with this. Yeah. And that's why it went viral. So
Richmond, North of Richmond.
And he's smart too. Get
yes.
It? Rich men north of Richmond. Richmond. Well, best of luck to him, you know.
Yeah.
Hope good things come to him. All right, well, we're going to be done here.
Yes.
Just for now. Don't worry. Or worry. Either one, I guess. If you're watching us, then, you must like us a little bit. And don't forget, you can catch Educated on the go by simply subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. And if, you're in that chipper mood and you want to go ahead and leave a 5-star review for our quality banter. I mean, there's quantity. I don't know about the quality, but there's certainly the quantity.
Yeah, there's definitely some bloviating going on and lots of hot air. But anyway, for Katie and myself, thanks for watching, listening, sharing on social media, and supporting the show. And until next week, stay educated, America.